James Gunn's DCU has officially begun. The first entry just wrapped its first season, and it was a pretty fun start for the most part. Let's get into it. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and if you're new, check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into Creature Commandos Season 1. This show is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's hilarious, it's emotional, it's got some really fun action, and animation is fantastic. All of the characters are enjoyable, and there are a ton of them. We got the Creature Commando squad comprised of the Bride, GI Robot, Dr. Phosphorus, Weasel, Rick Flag Sr., and Nina. All are on the team, and they are all enjoyable. And they all have their own unique power set as well, something I really appreciated. I also enjoyed how Gunn designated at least one episode per team member to highlight their origin. It was a neat way to give us some backstory on this team that we've all just sort of been introduced to. You get the Bride, who was created by Dr. Frankenstein to be a companion to his original monster, only to fall in love with her himself. GI Robot, who was created by the US Army as a Nazi killing machine, and then jailed for slaughtering American neo-Nazis. Dr. Phosphorus, whose wife and child were murdered by his employer after not making the scientific strides he had promised, and was ultimately forcefully mutated by them as well. Weasel, who we still don't really know where he came from, but he was imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit after attempting to save school children from a fire. And then there's Nina, a woman who was lung disorder and was accidentally mutated into an amphibious creature as her father tried to cure her of her ailment. All of these origins are very profound. They're all very emotionally resonant. Something that I think that Gunn is great at. It's one of his strengths as a storyteller. He's able to take some of the most reprehensible and despicable characters, feel something for them. I will say, out of all of them, Weasel is my least favorite. A lot of times he's just used as a joke, and a lot of the time it feels so out of place or just unnecessary. But everyone else on the team I really enjoyed. I was skeptical about Rick Flag Sr. because we've already seen his son in Suicide Squad, so I was nervous Gunn was just going to rinse and repeat the same character, and while they do have similarities, Sr. is very different, and I still enjoyed his character quite a bit. As for the story, it's similar to Suicide Squad, which we will get to in a minute because that's kind of one of my negatives. But Flag is sent in with his team by Waller to a foreign nation, Kholistan, to protect their princess. The nation has recently been attacked by the Amazonian sorceress Cersei, and after capturing Cersei, she reveals a devastatingly bleak, apocalyptic future where all of the heroes are dead and the princess sits upon a throne as the world's ruler. Waller sends the team back in to kill the princess, and Flag, working with Frankenstein, tries to undermine their mission as he's caught feelings for the princess. There are a few twists. We learn through Flag's investigation and confrontation with Clayface that Cersei was lying, but then in the finale, through camera footage and the bride's deduction, we discover Cersei was being honest the entire time and the princess was using Clayface to frame her. I enjoyed how this wasn't just a cut and dry Black Ops mission. Gunn keeps certain reveals close to his chest to keep the audience engaged, which is always good. I will say I did not like the Frankenstein portion of the narrative really at all. I think it just felt super out of place and just distracting from what we actually should be focusing on. Plus, his character, while a good comedic relief, doesn't really do anything. He just interrupts missions, annoys people, and the only real purpose he serves is saving Flag's life. I feel his character would have been better suited as a tease for Season 2. Maybe they get sent on a mission to stop him or something of that nature. In general, this show is very enjoyable. Like I said, there are a ton of fun action sequences, especially those involving the Bride, Phosphorus, and GI Robot, and a ton of deep character moments. Phosphorus' story actually got to me, especially when he meets a child that reminds him of his son. It's pretty heavy and emotional stuff. But my biggest issue with this show is it has too many of Gunn's fingerprints all over it. We get the best and the worst of James Gunn in this show. Great action, emotional character moments, fantastic needle drops, and just overall song choices in general. But we also get some of his worst qualities. Gunn is very ragtag group of misfits in making them likable and giving them purpose. However, since Guardians 1, it feels like that's all he's done. I mean, this show is essentially Suicide Squad just without any repeat characters. Literally, until King Shark pops up in the end of the final episode, it's just him doing Suicide Squad again. Another issue I have with Gunn is sometimes he loves working with a team, which is fine, but he cares very deeply about every single character. None of them in this show can just be fodder or side characters. They all have to have their due, which is a gift and a curse. As I stated, I love that we got backstories for everyone. They're all interesting. The downside of this is that this season is only 7 episodes long, so towards the end it does feel rushed when everything really wraps up. Plus the fact that the first 5 to 6 episodes, Nina doesn't get much to do, and then we're finally introduced to her history in the finale, and then she dies. It's just really off. I think this show easily could have been 8 to 9 episodes, and it would have been better for it. And then finally, this is a pretty small complaint, but he keeps referring to this as the kickoff of the DCU, but it's not. He's already confirmed that Suicide Squad and Peacemaker 1 are in this universe. Granted, he's been kind of cagey about whether or not the full scale of events in both of those projects are, but it's safe to say that like most of the stuff presented in that movie and that show are canon. I mean, both of those productions get referenced numerous times throughout the first season of this show, so I don't know, it's just a silly thing. It just bugs me. All in all, I enjoyed this season a ton. It's fun, it's irreverent, it's wild, the music hits, and it's emotionally just so resonant at times. I don't think it's Gunn's best work, as the last few episodes sort of feel thrown together last minute, but I do think the highest points of this season 1 are some of the highest points for James Gunn's work overall. It's a pretty good quote-unquote start to this universe. I'm happy we're getting a season 2. I hope the story is more cohesive and maybe more intertwined of the universe. And I really, really hope they kill Weasel.